When we passed was a comparative fault bill. We moved to modify comparative fault, saying that if you're more than, now, I like a good common sense bill, and I don't know how you disagree with this. If you're more than 51% at fault, you can make no claim, right? So in other words, what's happening now is I'm behind Steve, he's at a red light, I bump him, I can still sue him, even though I'm at fault. Well, this bill, modified comparative fault bill, would reduce that, right? There's still a chance when it's a questionable accident, but we would reduce a lot of that incentive to sue. So,
I have a question.
Sir. Go ahead, Ms. Pratt.
Chance, I want to thank you for your efforts in allowing homeowners to have some say-so in the amount of coverage that they would like to have on their properties. And can you give us a little update on what was finalized on that?
That, when I spoke at Lions Club, I said, sometimes you know what's coming down the pipe and you know it's going to be controversial, and then sometimes you just show up that morning and it's like a hornet's nest and just everybody's up in arms. And so that bill that Mr. Corr's talking about is called, in layman's terms, it's a stated value policy. And basically what it's allowing you to do is say that, replacement cost is X. Say I bought my home for $100,000, replacement cost is $250,000, and that's what every insurance company wants to insure it for. Every day, I have somebody that when we get a client on the phone, I deal with this all the time. They either have their mortgage paid off, or they have whatever the case may be. They didn't finance that much, whatever it is. They don't want to insure it for $250 because the cost is astronomical. So they say, how can I get less? I just want to pay for what I owe, or whatever the case is. And the short of that is, my girls in the office always like, hey, got one for you, here you go. And they give it to me, and I explain to them the process. Well, now I won't have to do that as much because a colleague of mine ran a bill that said you can request a stated value policy. In other words, I just want $75,000. If this thing blows or burns, I'm out of here. I'm good. I'm gonna pull a trailer over here for $50,000 and I am done. I am not, especially, well, you gotta think, my in-laws, they built a house out in Corliss, and it's right off the intercoastal, and the first one knocked down, so they hauled a double wide in on that one, and after the last storm, it rolled that one 3 times. And so, very nice double wide, but why do they want to build the original, home that they had? Because the chances are too high. It's just much easier just to pull them up. So that's what we deal with a lot. And so the essence of it is that we now have told companies that they have to offer a stated value policy to our constituents, which I think will help. It doesn't directly reduce costs, but it allows our people to pay less and choose the coverage they want versus being told they have to pay or cover their house for 3 times, market value sometimes. Not even at the end of the day, that's what it is. Replacement cost is not market value, and that's a hard concept for a lot of people to grasp. But now they can get either market value or less for coverage on their home, and so I think that was a big bill, big win. But that one did not go over well.
I'm sure it didn't, because in fact, when we had this conversation, just speaking to you about this, when Insurance Commissioner Tim Temple came to Crowley.
Right, yeah.
And that was an excellent meeting, and we had a lot of discussion on those topics, and it's nice to see something originate there and then make it to the finish line.
Continue, yeah. So the rep that ran that was down in Plaquemines Parish, and so we think we have it bad up here, and his constituents are just distraught. I mean, they cannot afford insurance on their homes, and they're covering for 2 times what they're worth, and so it was a big issue for him. I didn't think it was first. He ran it last year, tested the waters, and we thought he's going to run it again and park it because it was a point of contention, and he ran it across the finish line, so we're proud of him for doing that. But I'll take any other questions. If y'all have anything, I think everybody has my number. Y'all feel free to call.
Chance, I have a question on the Oddfellow Road project.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that already, you have a author, does it have a bill number?
So it has a project number, and I have it in my, I don't want to pull up my phone now, but I can get you the project number in capital outlay. Or it had a project number, but I'd assume that may actually change. So let me get back to you on that.
Yeah, so it's not a bill. It's going to be in capital outlay is a bill altogether, but there's not a certain bill for that
for road.
project.
Correct,
yes.
correct. If I could run a bill for it, trust me, I would. I'd make everybody know what it was for. But yeah, one more thing to touch on that I was letting the mayor know that DOTD put in their priority program, and I did ask the question today. I think you were in the email. They put it in their highway priority program to redo Parkerson from Court Circle to Sherwood Drive. And the cost of that project is high, and so for the mileage, right? Because it's only a 2.5, 3 mile stretch. The only thing I can see, and I'm waiting on the answer, is because they're going to redo that subsurface drainage at the same time. And so if they do that, I mean, that's a big win for Crowley right there to do all of Parkerson and do the subsurface drainage. I know that they have got, since I've been in, I don't know about when my predecessor was there, but I know since I've been there, I've been beat up on them a couple of times about the drainage issues on Parkerson. So I think that they've heard enough of it, and they're going to try to make a break for it. So thank y'all for having
Anybody
me.
else?
How do y'all have a meeting with no constituents? That's pretty amazing. They must trust y'all, huh? That's a credit for y'all. That's a credit for y'all. No, look, I'm happy to be here. Again, my phone line's always open. My office is downtown. If I'm not there, Megan can probably help you more than I can. But if not, if I'm there, I'll be happy to help y'all. Thank y'all for having me, and let me know. That's right. That's right. Can only take so much politicians. In one room. I get it.
Thank you,
Thank y'all
Chance.
so much.
It's been a pleasure working with you at the Capitol also. Every time I go to the Capitol, I text Chance and let him know I'm there, just in case he wants to buy a ice cream sandwich or something. But,
Yeah.
I've, as you all know, I spend a lot of time in Baton Rouge during the session, and I see Chance working often. So they do some good work up there, and they listen. When we talk, they listen. They can't always give us the answer we want, but they certainly give us the time that we need to bend their ears.
And I've seen a few of you around the Capitol, but if y'all are ever there, please reach out, let me know. It's always good to see a friendly face, especially when you're in the thick of things and you kind of forget what day it is and what time it is. It's kind of good to see a friendly face and visit and get y'all caught up on what we're doing. So if y'all are ever there while we're in session, please reach out and let me know. So thank
Thanks
y'all
again.
so much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
All right. So let's go into our standing committee reports. Public Works Committee. Alderman Dorey, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Public Works Committee convened Tuesday, July 8th, 2025, 5 p.m. in the council chambers, and a quorum was present. A motion was made by Alderman Vernon Martin, seconded by Alderman Brad Core, to award contracts for fiscal year 2025-2026 material purchases for the period of August 1st, 2025 through January 31st, 2026, in accordance with the recommendations in the city engineer's bid tabulation and its recommendations. The motion carries. I so move.
Offered by Alderman Dorey, second by Alderman Martin. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, under non-action items, Public Works Director Albert John presented his monthly report. Street Commissioner Wesley Jacob presented his monthly report, and the city engineer Tim Mader presented the monthly report of the engineers. And with that being done, we recess.
Thank you, sir. Utility, Alderman Martin, please, sir.
Thank you, sir. Utility Committee convened on Tuesday, July 8th. We had a quorum. There were no action items to present from the monthly engineers report. No action items to present from the monthly engineers report. And under non-action item, wastewater superintendent Tim Crater presented his monthly report, as well as Tim Mader, city engineer, presented his, which had no action items for the council to consider. There'll be nothing further to come before this committee. We recess.
Thank you, sir. Recreation, Alderman Ashby, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Recreation Committee convened on Tuesday, July 8th, 2025, 5 p.m. in the council chambers, and a quorum was present. Under action items, there were none to present from the monthly engineers report. Under non-action items, Recreation Director Zach Douillon presented the monthly Recreation Department report. City Engineer Tim Mader presented the monthly report, engineers report. which had no action items for council to consider. Mayor also told the council that upgrades were being made to the MLK Park because the proctors had received donations from businesses and citizens for the upgrades. There were no further business to come before the Recreation Committee, and the committee recessed.
Thank you, sir. Zoning annexation, Alderman Reggie, please.
Thank you. Zoning and Annexation Committee convened Tuesday, July 8th, 2025, 5 p.m. in the council chambers. A quorum was present. Under action items, no action items to present from the monthly engineers report and non-action items. City Engineer Tim Mader presented the monthly engineers report, which had no action for the council to consider. There was no further business to come before Zoning and Annexation Committee, and the committee recessed.
Thank you, sir. Public buildings, Alderman Wilridge, please.
Public buildings convene. Safety.
You want to skip safety?
Oh, we did forget public safety. Let's go ahead and do public safety. Alderman Core, my
Thank you,
apologies.
Mayor. The Public Safety Committee convened Tuesday, July 8th, 2025, at 5 p.m. in the council chambers, and a quorum was present. Under action items, there were no action items to present. Under non-action items, Chief of Police Troy Hebert presented his monthly report. Fire Chief Louis Romero was not present. City Inspector Tony Duhon was not present. Alderman Brad Core presented the city inspector's report that was provided by email. Jason Muntz spoke to the mayor and council about his belongings being brought to storage. Teresa Richard spoke to the council about blight and code enforcement. Tracy Young spoke to the council about rental house registration, and Todd Hanks spoke to the council about rental house registration. There was no further business to come before the committee, and the committee closed.
Thank you, sir. All right, Mr. Byron, we're gonna give you a turn again. Public buildings, please, Mr. Alderman Wilridge.
Public Buildings Committee convened Tuesday, July the 8th, 2025 at 5 p.m. in the council chambers. A quorum was present. Under number 1, a motion was made by myself and seconded by Mr. Dick Ajade to approve the request for Dr. Zora Proctor with the National Association of University Women for the city of Crowley to partner with them by donating the use of the MLK Center on August the 8th at 6 p.m. for the Back to School Supply Drive giveaway. Motion was carried.
You offering that?
Yes.
Offered by Alderman Wilridge, second by Alderman Martin. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Number 2, a motion was made by myself and second by Alderman Sammy Reddy to approve the city of Crowley to co-sponsor the Crowley Boxing Club on August the 2nd, 2025 by donating the use of the Wright Festival building on this date. Motion carried and I so moved.
Offered by Alderman Wilridge, second by Alderman Reggie. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Number 3, a motion was made by myself and second by Alderman Sammy Reggie to approve the partial payment number 8 for Parks and Pavilion Project to Prestigious Contract Group LLC in the amount of $77,424.05. Motion carried and I so moved.
Offered by Alderman Wilridge, second by Alderman Reggie. Discussion? Mr. Martin?
Once again, there's a dilemma going on. Some of you got videos of what's happening there. I'm pretty sure y'all been passing. It's sad. It's sad. Being in that type of work and seeing the progress of what these people are doing is unacceptable. We use the term in the business, money for nothing and checks for free. That's exactly what's going on here. They don't deserve to get one dime until they can get up here and tell us exactly their game plan, which they did the last time, and I'll be honest with you, they were out of bounds every time they had the ball. I'm pretty sure everybody in the past has seen it. It's no secret. I mean, when I'm not here, I have people, hey man, what are they doing? Oh man, nobody's there. Sun shining. But yet they have, like I said, excuse me, I had to take a breathing treatment. And I'm seeing the breakdown of days they asking for other days, they call it rain days. But what about the sunshine days? Okay? What about the sunshine days? These people, I mean, pass and see. I'm not the only one. Okay? I sat there for about 30 minutes and I videoed. Y'all want to just call me, I'll send it to you. The amount of dirt that they put there, I'm thinking it's about ready to grow grass on its own. And they just put that there maybe a week or so ago. The trench work that they've been doing is unacceptable. Even the concrete work that they're doing. I don't know who's pouring their concrete what, but no. You do that, you know, when you got a little extra concrete and you want to get rid of it, you go dig a hole or something and put it there and smooth it out. You understand? Keep you from getting your feet wet. I've talked to other contractors. They don't even know who these guys are. And they from around Lake Charles or whatever, and they say, man, we never heard of these people. But, I mean, it's no secret. I'm all for Crowley first. And I had spoke to this certain person that he deals strictly with the bidding process. I don't get involved with the bidding process. But he told me something that really sparked my attention. He said, don't you know that there's some organizations, whether it doesn't matter what they bidding on or what, they'll put their bid so low that a person that, and I'm not trying to be judgmental here, you got some people that knows what they're doing, and you got some people that's learning how to do it. Y'all follow what I'm saying? They learn to do this, okay? They know what a true bid is. But, I mean, let's face it, this city and every other city, we govern by, hey, the lowest bid gets it, and I use the words long time, many times, over and over. Lowest bid is not always your best bid. I don't care who you are, okay? You pay for experience, okay? And right now, you know, the good Lord has blessed me. Well, I'm on the road again, and I'm doing what I started doing, and I've been blessed with it. And bottom line here is this. I don't know what they're doing. Mayor, have they been talking to you? Have they been, I can look in your face and see that it is what it, look, and don't get me wrong here. When they made that situation about, well, the reason why we bought a building from somebody and they went under. You understand? Man, that sounds like your problem. That's not our problem. We hired you to do a job. That's just like, man, we go to build you a house and you get there and there's no roof. And you ask, where my roof is? You say, well, we paid a guy to put your roof on. We don't know where you're at right now. You understand? I mean, it is what it is here. And look, everybody's watching. I mean, at one time, the pavilion was discussed of being something where people can play, getting ready for the Rice Festival and having fun. And now it's a discussion of what the hell, where's the money? Who's working? Why they not doing nothing? Okay? So, I mean, I'm only saying from my experience, okay? And this is my opinion. I don't, you know, everybody here, you elected to voice your opinion. But being someone that's in this type of work and seeing it being done, man, I have to tell you, this is sad. That's just my opinion.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Alderman Reggie, please.
So if we end up not voting for this, or it doesn't pass, or however, I'm not sure who to ask the question to, what would then happen? Do they continue to work, or they probably wouldn't want to work because we don't pay them? So
I've explained that already. They are not in violation of the contract at this point. The partial payment approvals by council is not necessary. The council approved the expenditure of this project in whole at the beginning. And so the council has approved each partial payment basically because they've approved the project as a whole in the beginning. The partial payments, I don't know when that started or who it started with, what mayor it started with, but I agree with it. I like bringing it to y'all. You can keep up with the progress and what's going on the paperwork that was given gives you what is currently, what this $77,000 is asked of. Believe me, it needs to be printed bigger, but if you need some explanation on that, I can help you with that. Mr. Mater will be happy to help you with it. He looks over this stuff all the time, not with this specific project, but throughout the projects of the city. It shows what work was done and the amount of money. Not all of the line items are being asked for 100%, and the amount of money they're asking, or the percentage for each line item. That paperwork is turned into the architect. When Mr. Mater's office is taking care of a project, that paperwork is turned into his office. They then review it. They look over it. They go visit the site. They've been checking up on the progress. There is a weekly site visit by the architect company, and they review the paperwork and the request. What's requested? You said you got 4 bricks on the ground that you ordered and they're delivered, and you want to collect for 4 bricks, then, okay, I see them, and so here's a collection. We have to depend on the architect and or the engineer, whoever's over that project, with their understanding of everything, to approve, and it's all signed off by the architect, to approve those partial payments as they're presented. It's CSRS. I told him the architect didn't be here tonight. They were here last month's meeting to explain all this. And I told him it's a partial payment request for 77. It's CSRS, it's Louis Sabb Jr., who is the architect on this job. So if you don't approve it tonight, I'll hold off on it as long as I can, but legally we have to pay the partial payment request legally.
I mean, to answer your question, Mr. Reggie, I think that if we fail to make the partial payment, we would be in breach of the contract, and there's a pretty good chance we'd get sued. You know, what they're contractually obligated to do is finish this project by a certain date. And although we're looking at it and it doesn't look like that's feasible or even possible, that's what they're obligated to do. So taking that sort of action at this point in time by us would be kind of a preemptive action about what we're afraid is going to happen in the future, as opposed to a legal action for breach of contract because of something that they have done or something that they failed to do. As far as I'm aware, I'm not aware of any contractual breach that they've made thus far. I mean, and look, I'll say this. Yeah, I drive by. I'll be honest, I drive by it every day when I come to work. Make a point to drive by it every day when I come to work.
Me too.
And frankly, I'm not particularly pleased with the progress, but I don't think their lack of progress at this juncture constitutes a breach of their contract. And
that's also with liquid damages or liquid.
yeah, and so if they do fail to finish, there's a liquidated damages penalty that they're going to have to pay delay damages to us for every day that they're late. And I'll add one last thing. You know, the ultimate goal here is to have this thing finished by the deadline. And I think if we took any preemptive action at this point in time, I don't think that we're moving towards finishing by the deadline. I think that that would ensure that it wouldn't be finished by the deadline, because by the time we jump through all the legal hoops and take all the other actions necessary to do that, we're just pushing back the completion date further down the line. So I just really, I don't think taking that sort of action would be the prudent course of action at this time.
Mr. Mater?
If you look at the letter from the architect, it says everything. It's a very short sentence. It takes all the burden of a decision to pay the contractor $70,000 or $100,000 a month. He says, the architect, Louis Sabb, says, we have reviewed the payment application, found it to be in order, and recommend payment to Prestige Construction Group in the amount of $77,000 so many dollars. This architect is taking the weight completely on his shoulders. If the council's not bearing, you're not gonna make a bad decision if you approve it, because you made the decision based on the professional.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's why I thought he would be here.
Right, but I mean, I'm just saying, he can be here, but he says in writing here, the architect says, that is a fair amount to pay him, and he has it coming, and the contractor's agreement with the city says that that'll happen. If the architect says it's payable, then you must pay it. That's what the
Yeah.
contract says.
And Mr. Martin, I apologize. I told him he didn't need to be here. He was here last month. Certainly, he would not change his statement from this letter that he submitted. So he would come up here and say, I agree, this is what it is anyway.
Okay? What's constitute payment with just your word? Why, in other words, in our line of business, every board counts, okay? A person seeing, and once again, if we putting a gable up on a roof, they seen that their roof is being completed, okay? That gives them cause to say they're doing their job, let's pay them, okay? Right here, there's no work being done, but yet the architect says, okay, yeah, go ahead and pay him. You know, maybe I need to go work for that architect. I'm serious.
Mr. Core.
Yes, Mayor, and I agree with the comments about the architect. He takes a burden for verifying things. However, I do have a question. The application certification for payment document says for work done during the period of 6/1/25 through 6/30/25, with the information provided. Also, it's got 14 days in June were due to rain. And I'm looking at the smart sheet, item number 10, ticket booth plumbing Ruffian, complete 5/30 to 6/2 of 2025, 2 days, which would include the May date, and then 6/11/25 through 6/11, 1 day, pour ticket booth sidewalk curbs not started. And then it gets to site furnishings, 6/23 through 6/25, 3 days, not started as far as the status. And then build the ticket booth would begin on July 2nd, which is this month. So I'm not seeing many days of work done or anything completed for the amount that's being billed. So I guess that's my question to the architect. What does he know that's not on this smart sheet?
Mayor, I'd like to also, in support of Alderman Martin, I expressed the same concerns, and like everybody else, going out there in the last 2 weeks, I've only seen one person. Maybe I've not gone at the right time. But like Mr. Core brought up as well, some of these are, not done, not done. And we have a right to be concerned, and I appreciate the contractual agreement and definitely concur with that, but we have to have some better accountability. I had called and asked, since the new date of completion has gone past August, what is the new date of completion? What is a reasonable explanation?
September 28th, they gave it to us last month. That was, all that information was given last month.
That's right,
meeting.
and
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
what they said. Are they going to meet that?
Well, we're not there
Are
yet,
we
so
gonna
we don't know.
End up in the same place, at the same time, and we're already here.
Do we all feel that the answer to that question is no? I think that's the common, the popular opinion, the unpopular popular opinion of everyone, maybe except them, that the September 28th deadline is a joke.
Right.
But
I believe that.
again, there's two sides to every contract. Mr. Landry explained that, we can breach the contract also, we can be sued. I know that some of this is product that was ordered and delivered, Some of it was work that was actually done. There was a lot of work done out there, all right? There's a lot of electrical, plumbing, and subsurface work that's done out there, all underground, that you don't see. But it was done. I'll be honest with you, in my opinion, the amount of concrete that was done is a joke, but that's my opinion. Look, I'll tell you this. I can agree with Mr. Martin that I would have loved to have had a local contractor win the bid. But those envelopes were sealed. And when we opened them, the numbers that were on them were the numbers those contractors put. We could not go with the local contractor because that's just what we wanted. I don't have any better reasoning than we're here. Delaying the project is going to delay the project even more. I'm going to continue to hope and literally pray that that September 28th date holds strong.
Mayor, I just want to make one other comment that I'm looking through the documents and I do see a continuation sheet for work that was done this period, which may not be reflected on the smart sheet. And it does show item 7, cast in place concrete, $21,570. Masonry, anchorage, and reinforcing, $2,000. Item 28, plumbing equipment, $2,000. Water utilities on line 39 of $35,000. Line 40, sanitary sewage utilities, let's see, $16,268. And electrical utilities on line 42 of $13,916, which totals $90,754, less the retainage would be the $77,424.05.
Yes, sir.
So I just may want to clarify that. I didn't see that sheet when I spoke earlier.
Any other discussion? Yes, sir. Mr. Bandy? I don't, yeah. Mr. Mater.
It changes depending on the type of work that's critical to be done. It's not the same depending on how the rain affects the work.
Yeah.
It could be rain and ground conditions a day or two after rain, depending on what work's going on.
Yeah. Or raining and the building is up and they're working inside, so doesn't.
I'd like to say something too, because liquidated damages has been brought up. Be very, very careful how you view liquidated damages. Look at the words, liquidated damages. You're going to have to show damages that equate to a loss of money. And just because a contractor is a week late or a month late or 3 months late doesn't necessarily equate to a monetary damage that you suffer. And if you go down that road, you start getting litigious with a contractor and rattling that liquidated damages sword, he's not going to take that line down. He's going to go hire a construction expert law firm, and they're going to find everything they could possibly find that the architect did wrong, or engineer, if it was an engineer, what the city got in the way. He's going to come back with claims that are totally off the wall, and you're going to have to defend it, and that defense is going to cost you a lot of money. And all that happened was you finished the job 2 months late, but suddenly you're in a wasp nest of litigation because you felt like liquidated damages is something you had coming. Liquidated damages is not a penalty. It's what is the monetary value of some damage you incurred. Off my soapbox.
Thank you, sir.
I just can't understand
ma'am.
why G&H Outdoor, they're going to be opening, did it not rain over there?
Yeah, I've asked. Dollar General store, G&H Outdoor Store. I think there's a whole lot of different components to this contract, to this project than G&H Outdoor Store. There's no subsurface. There's no, they put dirt, poured a slab, and built a building. There's a lot of work that goes into this before they even pour the slab. And so I can understand some differences, but I agree with you. The vision of it is crazy. Mr. Ashby,
I'm gonna go ahead and hop up on
Okay.
the soapbox for 1 second.
go ahead.
I don't know a single person that works for this company, but being in the construction business for as long as I have, I just want to remember what they said happened in the last meeting. The company did go out of business. Before going out of business, they never gave them blueprints of the foundation. They had to go back and hire a new company to start from scratch again. And they're waiting on blueprints for the cement.
So that's
You
done,
cannot-
finally.
They finally got that.
That is
So
done.
you can't pour a slab until you know where the anchor bolts are going to set the building in place. So we gave them a deadline. We gave them the job. We can't force them to move any faster than they're moving. We just have to hope it gets done when it gets supposed to. Failure to launch, they just got the blueprints. So now they
Yes.
can start framing
Last
up
week, I
to
think
fo-
they were approved.
To form and pour
So,
the foundation.
Yeah, so the shop drawings had to go to the architect firm once the contractor got it, so that the architect firm can approve. The architect has to approve each step. Everything that they do, the architect has to approve. If they change one direction or the other, just a slight, and Mr. Mader can explain that, the architect has to approve it. Not only the architect, but their engineer within their firm has to approve the engineering of the slab and the metal, the rebar that's going in the slab, and the design of the building. Although the shape of the building is the same, it's a different manufacturer, and so the design of the building, the pieces we're not going to know is different, and so the architect and engineer has to approve that and then get it back to the contractor. And I've been told that that has been done as late as last week, I think it is. Now, we're going to say some prayers that our storm doesn't dump too much water on us. But if we can get a week of good weather, I'm sure that we'll start seeing some farms pop up and some, because they've got to dig footings. And that's another concern, is once they dig footings, I don't know how deep they have to go. I don't remember those numbers. But then it rains the next day, and then they got to start pumping that out, and that takes a couple of days to pump that out. And then now it's going to rain again the third day, and then so there's a lot more detail to it, and I can understand it, but it's still aggravating as hell that we don't see more progress there visually. So I understand. Mr. Martin, you had something else?
Getting back to the question of rain date. Now, look, you gave
Yep.
the rain date as a disruption of that day of the date. They would be on schedule. They would need a rain date because there's always something to do inside. Well, they ain't got
They ain't got no inside. Yes, sir. All right. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, motion carries. One opposition.
There was, under action items, there was none, so public buildings recess.
Thank you, sir. Let's see, insurance and personnel, Alderwoman Marks.
Okay. The Insurance and Personnel Committee convened Tuesday, July the 8th, 2025 at 5 p.m. in the council chambers. A quorum was present. There were no action items. Non-action items, Alderwoman Sandra Marks reminded the council that the benefits fair, health fair, will happen in August to check your health insurance. And there was no further business, and the committee recessed.
Thank you, ma'am. Community and Economic Development, Alderwoman Chasson. I'm
very
reading different
much.
lines on here.
Sorry. The Community and Economic Development Committee convened Tuesday, July 8th, 2025, 5:00 p.m. in the council chambers. A quorum was present. Under action items, Alderman Sammy Reggie presented the monthly report about events taking place in the city of Crowley. Under non-action items, Amber Hargrave and Hank Capel with Main Street attended the meeting. Amber spoke about upcoming events that Main Street is sponsoring. There was no further action to come before the Community and Economic Development Committee, and the committee recessed.
Thank you, ma'am. Revenue and Finance, Alderman Lachele.
Thank you, Mayor. The Revenue and Finance Committee convened Tuesday, July the 8th, 2025 at 5 p.m. in the council chambers. The quorum was present. Under action items, there were none. Under non-action items, there were none. There was no discussion. With that, finalized, the committee recessed.
Thank you, sir. No ordinances, resolutions. First resolution, approval of a resolution to introduce an ordinance to call for a public hearing for the amendment of the operating budget of revenues and expenditures for fiscal year 2025. A resolution of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen of the City of Crowley, Acadia Parish, Louisiana, introducing a proposed ordinance for the amendment of the operating budget of revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year 2025, and adoption of the operating budget of revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year 2025 as amended, fixing a date for a public hearing to be held to consider the amendment of the budget for fiscal year 2025 and the adoption of the annual budget for fiscal year 2025 as amended, and authorizing publication of notice of a public hearing and availability of the proposed amended budget for fiscal year 2025. Offered by Alderwoman Marks, second by Alderman Martin. Discussion. Again, this is authorizing a resolution to call for a public hearing next month to do this. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We need to do roll call. Caught myself there.
Chuck Ashby? Yes. Katie Shasso?
Yes.
Brad Core?
Yes.
Jeff Dorey?
Jeff Dorey?
Dickie Lachele? Vernon Morton? Sandra Marks? Samuel Reggie? Byron Rulridge? Motion carried.
Thank you, ma'am. Number two, a resolution of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen of the City of Crowley, Acadia Parish, Louisiana, introducing a proposed ordinance for the annual budget for fiscal year 2026, fixing a date for a public hearing to be held to consider the adoption of the annual budget for fiscal year 2026, and authorizing publication of notice of a public hearing and availability of the proposed annual budget for fiscal year 2026. Offered by Alderman Martin, second by Alderman Wilridge. Roll call, or discussion, roll call.
Chuck Ashby? Katie Shasso? Brad Core?
Yes.
Jeff Dorey? Dickie Lachele? Vernon Martin? Sandy Marks? Samuel Reggie? Byron Rulridge? Motion carries.
Thank you, ma'am. As always, you all have a copy of that budget, proposed budget and amended budget. If there are any questions, I've had some of you actually call already. Any questions, ideas, opinions, we'll take them. Honestly, this is the first budget that we were actually able to put numbers to. The last two have just been copy and paste. But thanks to the hard work of our city clerk and our CPA, and of course the auditors also have been doing a lot of work on our audits. They've been able to get some actual numbers for us to look at, and we didn't have a copy and paste budget this time, so I want to thank them for all the work. It is very tedious. There's a lot of moving parts, and it definitely is time consuming. So please call, come visit, any questions or concerns or ideas. Engineers report. You're done? Motion to adjourn? Yeah, Mr. Martin. Your microphone, please.
During the conference with the LMA, I'm sponsoring, it's like a meet and greet for the new mayor of Lake Charles, Mayor Simeon, real good friend of mine. Gonna have a nice lunch, or dinner, depends on what time it falls. You'll come on and have a good time, meet the mayor, and got some good ideas. And I'm planning on implementing some over there. He wants houses built, and I told him we got a problem with our houses as well. But they got a problem that, Nick talked about it, but I didn't know was that, don't you know Lake Charles has over 2,000 houses that were just left? People took the money and said, when I built my house, it cost me $130,000. My insurance gave me $118,000, and it's gonna cost me $300,000 to rebuild.
And they gone.
City of Lake Charles, you can have the house. So what he wants to do, and I'm thinking about it. All of the houses that it's costing the city money just to keep them up, you know.
Absolutely.
So he wants us to take all the houses, every last one of them, and remodel them or what have you, and all of them put them under the AMI, which is annual medium income. It's a godly thing to do, but let me tell you, God gonna have to be on our side with this. They got some of the houses, believe it or not, they're just water damage.
Yeah.
And the molding took over, and then they got some of the houses, all you need to do is push the door, the whole building gonna fall, but it is what it is. But anyway, I'll have Tessa give all the information, so y'all come on.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. We're gonna lock it in before the end of the week.
Thank you, sir. A motion to adjourn, offered by Alderman Core, second by Alderman Dorey. All in favor? Anybody wants to oppose that?